Some gaslighting behaviors when we are starting out in relationship can be really big red flags, and you need to be aware of them. Things that might look great and you might think, wow, this is fantastic, could be glaring bright red flags that you need to be careful. One of them is love bombing. So this is where a person literally showers you with excessive attention, excessive affection, and tons of compliments. They are creating a really intense emotional connection way too quickly with you, but it's going to make you feel very valued and very special. Be mindful. Love bombing is really not a good thing. Somebody who's a gaslighter can actually be very good at active listening, a really good listener. They understand your thoughts and feelings, and you can kind of think, gosh, they're in my head, like they're so clever and they really listen to me. They're really attentive. Be mindful, because this can create a false sense of emotional intimacy and trust. And they are doing that with the intention of using it soon. They may be really good at understanding and empathizing with your experience. So they might show a lot of empathy towards any past experiences that you've had or any struggles that you've had. It will make you feel really understood, really validated, and it will foster a deeper connection. These conversations you have got to be mindful of in the first 6 dates. Don't dive deep in the first 6 dates on any topic at all. It can leave you extraordinarily vulnerable down the track. If you are sharing information that is precious, that person is going to end up using that information to absolutely manipulate the hell out of you. Take it slowly. They may actually share their own vulnerabilities and their own struggles in an attempt to actually encourage you to reciprocate. So they may share with you very private information with the intention, and these will be vulnerabilities and struggles, things that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this awful thing happened to me. And it's going to encourage you to reciprocate and share information. That shouldn't be happening in the first 6 dates if you're dating. Take it slowly. For all of you, anybody who makes a grand gesture early on, and I'm talking between the first 3 to 6 months, where they are going out of their way to do extremely big gestures, thoughtful, elaborate, big gestures. These can be gifts. They can be like, oh, I've got all the time in the world for you. They can show up for you no matter what you need, when you need it. You have to be really aware of this. This could lead to some serious issues down the track. It makes you feel like they care for you and they appreciate you, but they are setting you up. Any grand gesture is a red flag. The other thing is aligning their interests with yours. If you've ever met somebody on a dating app or gone out to see them fairly quickly, and they are very keen in the hobbies you've got, the values you have, the preferences that you like, and you're like, wow, this person's almost perfect for me. They have created a sense of compatibility and shared interest with you. They are not being honest. If they have a lot of things that are aligned with what you like, what you think and feel, be aware that that is something to be mindful of. Again, they are trying to create in you a sense of compatibility and shared interest. People who you meet early on, and I'm talking about, again, the first 3 to 6 months of any relationship, if they start to talk about the future really early in that first 3 to 6 months, but if it's in the first 3 to 6 dates, run for the bloody hills. When they're making future plans with you early in the relationship, be mindful. They are creating a seed of commitment and exclusivity that they may not actually follow through on. Do not believe them, and be wary of anybody who is trying to create this very early, oh, we'll go somewhere next year, or maybe we can move in together. Oh, I love you so much, maybe I'll marry you next year. Whatever it is, if you have not been seeing that person for between 3 to 6 months, those discussions about the future are preemptive, and you need to be mindful of it. You might notice that a person either mirrors your personality. So they mimic your mannerisms, they share your opinions and your beliefs, and you kind of go, wow, this person's almost the same as me. They kind of really like me. How unusual. We're kind of two peas in a pod. They are creating a false sense of common ground and compatibility. Be mindful that they are mirroring your personality. Somebody who seems too much like you is odd. They shouldn't be like that. That whole perfect match is nerve-wracking. It can include things like idealizing themselves, so downplaying any flaws they have, so that you will overlook any potential red flags, right? They're just too good to be true. If they're too good to be true, they're too good to be true. They may be very charming socially. So there may be, people, may really flock around them like moths to a flame. They might be really charismatic. They might be very charming. They may appear very likable or well-liked by others. They may talk up their social story quite a bit. Just be mindful when somebody seems overtly charming all of the time, because that, again, is a red flag to look at. What is going on? This person seems too good to be true. Watch out for the gaslighter, because sometimes they can be very supportive. They can offer you a lot of emotional support when you're going through tough things, and they will be there for you day and night, anytime you need them. This really creates a sense of dependency on them and having their presence in your life. Like, what would I do without you? And that is what they are hoping to do. These are all early stages. If you imagine a spider makes a web, a very sticky web, and the spider takes a long time making the web. Well, gaslighters create a web also, and their webs include all of the things I'm talking about. They make a web that's sticky so that when you are in that web, then they're able to start to gaslight and manipulate you. So really important that early on in the piece, you are noticing if they are creating a level of dependence with you, because they are constantly available to help you. They can also seem to be very emotionally available. They're open and willing to discuss just about anything, but they're very willing to talk about their emotions, their vulnerabilities. They want to make you feel very comfortable in sharing your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, your vulnerabilities. So they will become emotionally available to you because, again, the web that they are creating is to have you expose yourself emotionally to them. This is one that I talk about a lot in the membership, is about that quick intimacy, right? We need to be really mindful of getting into a sexual experience with somebody too early, because it creates an emotional bond, a really strong emotional bond very early in the relationship. I highly recommend at least 6 dates over at least, 4, 5, 6 weeks to give you a chance to slow things down. If you have sex before that, it is going to feel like you have created a strong emotional bond very early on, and that you are going to feel quite deeply connected to this person. And it is then harder for you to see any of the warning signs because your brain will override them. Be mindful of intimacy too fast. And people who are pushing you for intimacy too fast, you really want to be mindful of. Some gaslighters will really be very validating for you. So they're going to acknowledge the way you feel, concerns you've got, wanting you to really feel like you've been heard by them. This is going to foster trust in you, and it will make you way more susceptible to manipulation by them, because they've already validated some of the things that you think can fail. Some of the experiences you've had, they've validated. Well, yes, of course you should feel really, really angry with your ex because of X, Y, and Z. What sort of a person would do that to you? So they're validating your experience. But what they're doing is they're actually making you a bit more susceptible to their manipulation because you trust them, because they've validated you. Be mindful. They also can come in as massive problem solvers. Oh, I know exactly what you need to do. If you just do this, this, and this. And it can feel like you want somebody to give you an answer sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want somebody to come in and say, this is what I think you should do. Anybody who doesn't know you, who is offering you a problem, who is solving a problem for you, is not doing that for your benefit, because they don't know you well enough. They don't have the first clue about you. And so you need to be mindful that that person is giving you information based on their needs, not yours. People who problem solve early on in relationships are not trying to help you. They're trying to help themselves. I wanted to talk about another part of this that's really important, that comes up in dating specifically. It's a thing called hoovering, which I'd never heard of before. But hoovering is a very manipulative tactic. And basically, it's about implying that the person is trying to suck you in and target you. They'll use it to suck you in, but then discard you. So it has that awful sense of, when you get into a relationship with somebody quick and you really get invested quick and they seem like they're all over you and they're doing all the lovely things I talked about earlier, but then from nowhere, they discard you, they ghost you. And what they're basically doing when they discard you is they are seeking to regain control, attention, or emotional validation from you. So they have gone, okay, I've done all my work here. Now this person needs to sort their lives out because now they need to be really dependent upon me. So when they use hoovering, they are deliberately doing an activity that will make you feel very unsure of yourself. It's really important. Hoovering looks like reappearing. They've dropped off the scene, they've ghosted you, they're not talking to you, and then they just come out of the blue. Hi, how you going? And it can make you really like, oh, what's going on? They can come in being exceptionally charming again and very attentive again and very remorseful. Oh, I'm really sorry. Lots of things went on. Things got in my way. I'm really sorry that I hurt you. It wasn't my intention at all. They can come in with the promise to change. And in longer term relationships, many of us have heard this, right? This time it'll be different. It's going to be different this time. And it's just a manipulation to get you back into the relationship again. They may come in idealizing past relationships, reminding you that other people actually think that they are positive and that love them and care about them, and you're going to miss out. You know what I mean? If you don't get back to me, I have lots of other options. So be mindful when they're idealizing themselves, letting you know that there are lots of other options available to them. Of course, there's manipulative guilt, which is really awful, where, they want guilt and pity from you. They want sympathy from you. Woe is me. My life is really bad. Look what's happened to me. It's terrible. Where you start to feel very responsible for them and guilty about saying no to them. Of course, they want to come in and create doubt. That is the biggest part of all of this, right? Is if they can put a seed of doubt in there, then they're going to get you back into the manipulating cycle. And of course, gaslighters are the kings and queens of boundary riding. They are just shockers, and they will do all sorts of things with your boundaries. It is really important to know that they will test you at every turn to see if they can manipulate or control you when you've set a boundary with them. So it's really important to know, what is the boundary? I explicitly express the boundary. And what am I going to do when, not if, they boundary ride or they decide that they are going to just dance all over that boundary? They don't give a shit what I'm saying. They're just going to do whatever they want. It is really challenging when we are in relationships with gaslighters. Some of us are really highly prone to being in relationships with gaslighters. Those of us who are anxiously attached can very much become prey to a gaslighter because we are quite needy in our relationships, and we feel very flattered when somebody is really all in. So be really, really mindful of these gaslighting behaviors. The things that are really foundationally important are: set your boundaries, communicate as cleanly as you can, make sure you do not become socially isolated, make sure you have people around you who can help you stay into a kind of a real space of going, hold on a second, I want to question what's happening here, and listen to those people who care about you. Of course, come into the membership and ask me if you're in doubt. Gaslighting is a bit crazy making, and we need to use every tool in our arsenal to make sure that we are safe. First, awareness. Recognize what gaslighting looks like. Secondly, if you have been gaslighted or you are a gaslighter, because yes, some of you may be, then what we need to do is accept that and lean into that. Okay, this is what I do, or this is what that person does, and then action. Start setting up the things that are going to help you slow down your dating, set boundaries and stick to them. Communicate what you want and need as cleanly as you possibly can. Get support if you doubt yourself. Those are really important things that you can do to really manage gaslighting in any relationship. All right, I look forward to listening to your questions in the membership in the coming days. There are no resources this time around for this workshop, so you won't need to worry about resources coming up, but I will be taking all your questions in the coming days. Take care, my darling. Bye.